Ready for episode 1, everybody?
Yes.
Can we start it out as episode 4 and go backwards and then forwards?
Why would we do that?
We're waiting for Jeff's reasoning.
You know, because it's a funny movie trope. They always
Started.
This is a Star Wars joke. You should have saved for Star Wars. Okay, now I understand.
Now, if you tell that joke again, you won't laugh.
Yeah, it won't be funny. It
You
wasn't.
didn't
funny.
laugh the first time.
You're not wrong.
The Flick Network. We watch movies. We talk movies. Your online movie friends. The Flick Network.
Welcome to the Flick Network, episode 1. I'm Jeff. Jeff, just because this is a movie show doesn't mean you should already be yawning. I'm Dave Moore. Joining me for our very first episode. We'll explain the show in a minute. I promise.
I just yawned. I'm sorry.
We're here to discuss movies. Joining me, of course, is Jeff Daly. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Dave.
Electrical engineer by day, Jeff Daly by night. Jeff,
100% Jeff all the time.
it's like we're almost starting our movie show over again, Jeff.
Yes, it is.
The-
We're watching the same movies.
Yeah, the exact same movies joining us for this brand new show, starting over from the beginning. I don't have a funny intro for you yet. It will come in time. Joining us is Shy from Not So Shy. Hi, Shy.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good, but I feel like this is going to be interesting since you guys have done this before.
Listen, this is slightly different. Okay, guys, so here's the deal, and I meant to go grab this. We have a poster. Imagine I'm holding it up.
A poster.
We have a poster.
That you're going to lose halfway through.
Yes.
No,
yeah.
take a picture of it.
We already wrote them all down. We're good. Okay.
True, you're right.
Of 100, which we didn't do the first time. Mistakes have been made. Of 100 bucket list movies. These are what this random poster movie website deems are 100 very important movies to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're going to question the credibility of this poster.
Why are we going to do that?
Because that's what we're here to do. Is this poster...
No, please don't tell me on this poster that they have Moonlight. I can't rewatch that movie. I can't rewatch that movie.
Oh, there's Moonlight and Snatch and Star Wars.
I can't. I can't.
A box that just says Star Wars. A box that says the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
The what?
The Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Damn.
Please.
So that's going to be... Should that be 3 different episodes?
We're gonna find out. We already have. Wait till the end of this episode, and we already have to make a decision based on what the next.
Don't tell me that they have American History X on that poster.
They do.
I-
This is the same
it the
poster.
same poster?
Yes.
oh,
Jeff and I started this as a project on Forget Being Cool,
wait a second. Yeah. Keep going.
and
Sounds so sad.
and it was called The Film Impact. It was a show that no one watched, no one listened to, so don't worry, Shay. No one will listen to this either. It's okay.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
And so we're gonna go through this poster and watch these movies. Now we're gonna watch them in order instead of a random shuffle as well. But the first movie on this list, it's one of Jeff's favorite movies of all time. A movie that I felt conflicted with the first time I watched it, and a movie that Shy had never seen until today.
True.
The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Jeff, one,
Yeah.
because you have the notes in front of you, and
Yeah.
two, because this is your favorite movie.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us about The Shawshank Redemption?
It's the greatest movie of all time.
Wow.
It's The Shawshank Redemption was originally a novella written by Stephen King in 1982. It's a screenplay adapted loosely based on that. And it's about a person who goes to prison for murdering his wife and her lover. And it's about this person's stay in prison. It takes place in the 40s to the 50s. And basically the whole plot of it is this person stay in the prison because he's a banker, about how, I don't know, his life in prison over the 20 plus years he spends in prison, and how he interacts with everybody there, and how I don't know, how in depth do I have to go with the plot?
That's it. I feel like you did it.
I think you met
I
it.
feel like you did it.
That's the overarching synopsis. The in depth is Andy Dufresne is played by Tim Robbins. Oh, I really don't think I've ever watched another Tim Robbins movie. I don't think another Tim Robbins movie existed. I haven't watched it. and then it has the perfect side character who's also the narrator as Morgan Freeman, who's the greatest narrator of all time.
Playing Red. Now, here's a question though, Jeff. Warning. Let's start here actually. Before we spoil this movie.
Yeah.
Because we will entirely spoil this movie.
100%.
I'd like to see a show. I'd like to see the show where we can't spoil the movie.
Yeah, that no one would care.
Then no one really would listen to it.
Yeah. Before we spoil this, do we think that the audience of this program should stop right now and make sure if they haven't seen The Shawshank Redemption, is it even worth their time?
Yes.
I will say.
Okay. What if
Keep going.
No, I was gonna say, give like your quick thoughts on the movie, your opinion, like bullet point opinion, so people can go watch it.
Yeah, Jeff has established it as the greatest movie ever made right now. So.
It is my favorite movie of all time.
Shy.
Okay, I will say that it was a really good movie and very satisfying. Like very much not satisfying, but then the ending was very satisfying. That's all I'll say. It was really good.
All right, I will say watching this a second time, I quite enjoyed the movie more so than I did the first time, yet I would still recommend going and watching the movie before you listen to a bunch of people on the internet completely destroy it and tear it apart.
I'm not going to tear it apart, but yes, I would recommend. I always recommend
watch it.
Anybody who's never watched it to watch it. I will say Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman are best friends in this movie, and I don't know. It's just in terms of a movie that its plot and everything I look for in a movie, it ticks all the check boxes. It has a great like buddy to where there's two people who become really good friends. There's a twist at the end that you don't expect coming unless you've heard of it from 100 people, and
in case a bunch of idiots on the internet have ruined it for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So go watch this right now. It is like over 2 hours. It is worth your time though.
It's so worth it.
2.5 hours. It is 2.5 hours long.
It's actually, I think I asked Alexa what the runtime was. I think it was like 2 hours and 26 minutes or some shit, or 22 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good chunk of time, and I do think there is maybe a little bit more based on looking at the short novella. That's the word.
Novella. I don't know.
You're fine. Novella.
By Stephen
Not that
King.
hard.
Yeah, which I did open and read the first couple pages of, because Apple samples on books, Apple book samples are free. So I wanted an audiobook. I wanted to listen to it really quick because I knew it was only like 160 pages. I'm like, I can get through that in like 20 minutes, basically. Right.
Wait.
That's about the runtime of the movie.
Did you just say? Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jeff, I think you said something here that I'm going to counter and argue, and I feel this way more so watching the movie the second time. The main character is not Andy Dufresne.
I mean, you are right. It is Red, who is Morgan Freeman, narrating the entire story. And
if it weren't for the opening scene, if it were not for the very opening scene where we see Andy in the car and in court, I would argue that the movie is actually entirely told from Red's perspective.
all right, let me ask you this question, Dave.
Yes.
How many parts are in the movie is there where Red is the only person there without Andy? And how many times are there just Andy without Red? I would argue that you say that, but a lot of the scenes, even if Red is narrating it, is depicting Andy Dufresne.
I'm willing to agree with you to some extent, yet I think only the events that we see are only the events that Red is aware that are happening.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna
weigh in.
agree with both of you in different ways.
Okay.
So, the story is 100% written, obviously as Red telling the story, right? That's how it is written. But the story is about Andy.
It is
Fair.
So I would say that they both have equal standing in the movie, but if you were gonna put it on paper and say who the main character was, it would technically be Andy. But watching it, I feel like it's one of those things that doesn't have a main character, and they're both equally important to the story. So, but on paper, you could say Andy.
And the novel is written from Red's perspective.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it's told. It's basically Red telling you about his best friend, and so the story is told by Red. It is about Andy.
So my important question for you, Shai, is I hear that your significant other was demanding that you watch this movie.
Yes, he was.
Was he correct? Do you feel like he overhyped it, or do you feel as if what you were being told is that this movie was important enough that you should have watched it by now?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was a really solid movie. I think it made me feel all the things, because when I watch a movie, I want to feel things. I know some people don't want that.
We're gonna agree frequently, I think, Shai, on it's the emotional things that matter. It's how I feel about the characters, how they make me feel is what I care about, and not so much other things.
Yeah, I very much, when I go to a movie, what makes the movie good to me is my experience. Was I able to go on that journey with whoever these characters are? Was I sad when they were sad? Was I happy when they were happy? Did I experience it alongside them by the end of the movie? That's what makes it a good movie to me. That's why sometimes action movies and shit are boring to me, because I'm no, I'm not driving a car and jumping over 15 other cars and fucking that's not fun for me. But something like this, where you, like I said, you go through it with them. You feel, you're angry when he's angry, you're happy when he's happy, you're sad when he's sad, And I feel like that's what makes a good movie.
I feel like it's also part of a good movie to where you not only feel for the main characters, but you have feelings for all the side characters, no matter how big a role is. In this movie, you really hated Boggs, and you really felt for Brooks.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and I watched this movie with AD this time, which is the audio descriptions for anybody who's just curious. It's a visually impaired additive audio track that describes what's going on. There's a lot of characters that if you're watching it for the first time and not paying attention as much as you probably should be, characters who don't even get names but are described in the audio.
Yep. Yeah.
These are characters who have names, and all you would know about this character is that this happened to them, and not their names. There is one character in the very beginning whose death is brutal and horrible and just awful, and is characterized as only fat ass. That is their character name.
That was crazy.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
I was not fat ass. What the fuck?
Yeah, the novel was written in '84, and the movie was made in '94.
Yeah,
So it's not
so
as
shitty.
PC.
And it sucks because the audio description had no choice but to call him that. Because that's what they call him.
Now that is his name.
So, yeah, that's his name in the movie because we never find out his real name. And he's only there for 10 seconds. So it's like, he's just, the audio description has no choice but to call him fat ass. And I was like, fuck, that's not cool.
Poor guy.
I don't like that. Yeah, poor guy.
One thing I didn't feel as... God, see, now that I know the story and I feel for these characters and care about them and understand it watching it, Jeff, I lean harder with agreeing with you that, like, this is one of those really great movies with a bunch of characters with really touching moments. One of my absolute favorite moments, and it was even the first time, but like more so and hit harder this time, was them all going out to do projects throughout the city, and they're doing roofing. And Andy convinces the security to allow for him to do his taxes or whatever, but he's going to get everybody who's working with him beer on their last day, and them all drinking beer. And Andy didn't do that for him. He didn't give a damn about it. He didn't even drink the beer. He couldn't give up drinking. He was doing it for the rest of his crewmates and everyone who he was with. And
that was awesome.
You know why he gave up drinking?
Because he got drunk and accidentally killed his wife, even though he didn't. Yeah. But he couldn't remember.
Because he almost killed his wife.
Right.
Yeah.
And to the point where he wasn't. And this is what's so brilliant about this movie and that opening scene is you question it because
you doubt him.
They leave it open ended.
It's open ended because it's open ended to him.
Yeah.
We don't actually know. We saw him get out of the car. And that was it. We didn't know if he went in. We didn't know if he did it. And he told the truth in court. Right?
Yeah, but because he did it in such a way to make him seem, like he didn't care at all.
It's like his demeanor, I guess, like his energy.
He has
very coldish.
He has a very emotionless demeanor about him, and that's what framed the entire movie. Even from the end, he said he regretted being like that to his wife.
Yeah,
which is fascinating because it's almost like even like the thought that I think he possibly thought he actually could have done it.
Yeah,
too.
I think that scared him.
His doubt in himself even is what led to him doing that. Which is why I think the turning point is when he realizes that he didn't do it and knows he didn't do it, and somebody can back up and confirm who else it was, and that proved to him that he was right, he wasn't wrong.
Exactly. And I argue that even though this is a prison story, the whole point of this story is about hope.
Yep.
Oh,
how hope changes a person.
Yeah,
totally.
It's strange that we're talking about something that is so grim, where people are dying, people are getting raped, it's awful. It is a gruesome story.
It's rough. Honestly, there should be trigger warnings.
Oh yeah, there's a couple trigger warnings that probably. Shai, I'm going to give you this right now. We've watched some of these movies on this list, just the ones that you don't recognize. Go in prepared
good
emotionally, because there's a couple movies that Jeff has already mentioned on this that we've watched, and we know they're rough, and they're
I would say the roughest we're gonna watch is American History X that I've watched.
I think this one, it's almost worse watching it with the descriptions.
Oh gosh, I could only imagine,
because now you actually know what the sisters are kind of doing to him.
And it leaves it open-ended. Did the sisters do anything other than beat him up?
And the audio descriptions make it a little clearer that they did a little bit more.
Yeah, it's still it's a little clearer, but it's still pretty.
Yeah, it's
vague.
It's vague, but I don't think I want to know more.
Yeah.
Does that? Yeah, that's fair. I never thought I would care so much about Andy. I never thought that this would shift into this point where I care as much as I do about this story. And I really do like this movie a lot.
It's so good. It's so good. I had so much fun. Wait,
Yeah.
okay. I have a question though.
Okay.
So Dave, what was your like initial like last time? What were your qualms, I guess, or like your whatever reasons where it was like just okay for you?
My qualms were that I think despite it being a twist that he had dug his way out, I didn't feel that it was really a twist. I think the biggest part of that twist is that it was behind the poster, not so much that he did it. And I thought what was more crazy is that he had, crawled through 500 yards.
That shit was fucking nasty.
Like it's nasty, but I don't know the fact that he escaped was so much of a surprise as I think it maybe is supposed to be.
It was for me.
Well, I think you're spoiled, Dave, because you probably already knew it before watching the movie.
See, this is the question. Did I know it then?
Did you watch a Family Guy episode,
You
Dave?
probably may have. Yeah, there's a Shawshank Family Guy episode. You probably may have like heard it in passing and like never actually thought about it or registered it. So something in your back of your mind was probably just like, I wonder if he escapes.
But see, one of these things is like when I know it's coming and I knew it was the thing the whole time. Something about that made it better. There's something weird about the spoilers, like knowing. I think.
Oh no, I love movies with exact twists that I don't
Listen,
guess.
I did not expect that at all. Like I had no clue at all.
No, and it's
very fun.
And at the end of it, you're like, is he going to,
yeah, like hang himself or something.
hang himself? Like, what is he going to do?
I didn't think he would do that because he's all about hope, right? So I was like, there's no way that's what he does. But I couldn't figure out what he was going to do. But I was like, there's no way he's going to hang himself. Like,
And they played it for a while until Warren Norton opened up to find Andy Dufresne's old shoes. Even the person who was taking roll call, they just had him looking.
He was
in
just
the
like,
cell.
oh shit, and then that was it. You don't actually know. Yeah.
What I think is brilliant about that too is like he took those shoes and no one noticed.
Yeah.
Like that twist. Like that's a good twist. Like people don't notice shit like that.
No. How often do you see people's shoes?
You don't. I mean, I don't. So like, yeah, that's not something you pay attention to, really.
No. I think it's all about hope, and the biggest indicator of it is when Brooks got out. He couldn't survive on the outside.
Yeah, man.
He had no hope. He had nothing left. He couldn't survive, and he didn't.
I mean, even before he got out, when he almost killed that kid, like
Hayworth.
he's like, "This is the only way they'll let me stay." And you're like, "What the fuck?"
And
but it made sense.
And when Red was getting out, he was the exact same way, and the only way that changed is when he had hope that he could still see his friend again.
Yep.
Feeding that maggot to his crow, though. Ugh. Ugh.
Dude,
are you gonna eat that?
When he was like, "Are you gonna eat that?" I was like, "If this man puts his bug in his face, I'm turning this movie off." I was like, "I'm done.
If he eats it, oh god, yeah, no.
I was like, if he puts that bug in his fucking mouth, I'm done.
I didn't remember that until the second rewatch.
Oh.
So I
watched this movie so many times.
All right, Jeff, we put in the notes as Jeff muted his mic.
Yeah, I'm here.
We put some fun facts in there, but before we pull those up, Jeff, I would like to tell you a fun fact that I was told today, okay? And I want to know how you both emotionally feel about this statement. So I ran into my screenwriting professor, who I haven't seen in a decade. I ran into her today, okay? And I was talking to her, and she's, this show came up. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm actually recording a movie discussion thing today." Like, like whatever. And she goes, "Well, what's the first movie?" And I go, "Shawshank Redemption." She goes, "Of course it is." I go, "Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, I know it is." And she says, "You want to know a fun fact about that?" And I go, Sure. Tell me a fun fact." And I think she's about to tell me some like really cinematic, like historical thing, like some fascinating like thing. She's like, "No, that movie came out in like 94. And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I was in my 20s. And I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "And I was dating." I'm like, "Okay." Like keep going. Like, just get to the point of this story.
Yeah, like, what's the point?
And she's like, So I was dating all these guys, and it was just the beginning, like the very beginning of DVDs. That movie tanked in the box office. No one saw it in theaters.
Yeah, it did.
And she goes, yeah, and all the guys I was dating were getting into just collecting DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
And the one DVD that every single guy that I went out with, in their stack of like 3 DVDs of their first DVDs, was Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. That's a good fun fact about the movie. Every guy in the 90s had it in their stack of DVDs.
Such a random.
I know.
Is that really a fun fact, though?
No, it's not. It's just a funny thing she had to tell me. She felt it's that every guy collecting DVDs in 1996, probably. Let's be real. Like, very first DVDs, they had to all have the Shawshank Redemption. All of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was born in 1996.
You were born in 96.
Listen, if you were born in the 2000, I'd have to kick you off the show, though. So
Yeah,
this is
no.
So
allow it. Yes, Jeff.
This movie, I don't know what the chances are, but it was filmed entirely in Ohio.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating.
Mansfield,
for
Ohio.
us. Yeah. We could go visit. We could go visit that prison, Jeff.
I have already been there
Of course
twice.
you have.
Twice.
That tracks. I don't want to go to the prison. I want to go take pictures under that tree.
It's probably just a cornfield in somewhere.
The tree might still be there. I don't know.
The tree's definitely in Ohio too. Just go cornfields. That's it. It's all. It's in the south of Ohio, probably near this prison.
Yeah, so the prison is no longer a prison anymore, and it's now like kind of like you can take tours of it, with it focusing a little bit on Shawshank Redemption.
Couple movies were shot there.
You know the scene at the end where it's zoomed out, like it's the tunnel scene, to where it's like zoomed out and they're looking in the tunnel.
Yeah.
That is actually, they have the prop tunnel there, so they actually made a tunnel that was a prop that wasn't in a wall. And that's how they were able to shoot it.
Cool.
And they have that prop there and everything, to where they had the camera on the other side and they just zoomed in and out.
That's cool.
And you've seen it.
Yeah.
How's the prison look? Do they try to keep it looking like Shawshank, or is it just like...
It looks like a prison.
Cute.
It looks like an old prison. And that's exactly what Shawshank looked like. The mission accomplished.
Yep.
No, it was really good. I mean, it's Mansfield, Ohio is about an hour and a half south of Cleveland. And like Dave said, it tanked in 94. Did not do good in the box office. And all I think about when I watch this movie is how cool it'd be to watch it in a big screen. Or you're just like, oh, let's just go see this movie.
Why do we
You
think
should
it...
find some of those like old school theaters. They probably, the theaters that...
Oh, I bet
just-
Capitol
like
Theater
dollar
shows.
theaters or
They've
whatever?
got to show it occasionally, Jeff. Capitol Theater's got to show it downtown.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no way. Those theaters that do like the $1 shows or $5 shows where they just show old movies.
There's a couple movies on this list that I would say I would rather not just watch them, and if we could get the full theater experience, I would much prefer that. But I will save that for future episodes.
Now you're going to ask a question. Why do we think it tanked?
Yes, Jeff.
Why, do you know why it tanked in 94, Dave?
No.
Do you know, Shy?
No.
Because of another movie that was released in 94 starring
it
Tom
Titanic?
Hanks.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Forrest Gump.
Oh, of
Forrest Gump was
course.
also released in 94, which also swept the Academy Awards. Like, not swept it, but took home a lot of awards.
Gump's probably on this list, huh?
It is.
Yeah. Also, movies that came out in 94, Pulp Fiction,
Wow.
The Lion King, The Mask.
Can you
It was a really big year for cinema.
can you
Clearly.
imagine? Can you
Jesus
imagine
Christ.
the award show? Every movie that you just listed is arguably still regarded as one of the greatest movies of all time. Like, normally you go and you see these award shows and you're like, all right, well, there's like clearly like one winner, or the Academy favored this movie, but like it's not the greatest movie ever made. It's not. This poster was made in like 2016, so it's extremely biased.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Wild though to think that all those movies came out in the same year. That's insane.
Yeah. And they're all on this list.
Academy Awards for that year. Forrest Gump won Best Picture, won Best Director, won Best Actor.
Lion King probably didn't. They didn't. Did they start giving a shit about animated stuff yet?
They still don't.
Yeah, I know they barely do, but Pixar always wins stuff for animation.
Yeah,
and
best movie made for children, animated.
Literally.
Yep. Whether it's the best film or not doesn't really matter. They just give Pixar the awards.
The Lion King won Best Original Score.
Oh, okay.
And Best Original Song.
Okay.
As it should.
Circle of Life. Or
the Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yeah.
Which is not the best song in the score, but whatever. It's Elton John, so it's fine.
Don't worry. It's on this list. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Forrest Gump was nominated for 13 awards that year and won 6 of those awards.
And probably all up against Shawshank.
Yeah. So basically, if the Shawshank was released in any other year, I'm very certain that would probably have won awards and not have been a flop. And that year, prison movies weren't the big movie things. Like prison movies are.
People like
they were more popular previous in the 90s and the 80s.
I wonder if this movie's marketing at the time even wasn't as clear as it probably. The question is, this is one of those movies that has to be like seen and word of mouth has to get out that this movie is great and people need to see it. And if Forrest Gump was playing in theaters at the same time and just basically took over and all you heard was a bunch of guys saying that Shawshank is the coolest prison movie ever made, like, did anybody care?
Yeah.
You know, like...
No one cared because Tom Hanks was, doing Forrest Gump things.
Life's like a box of chocolates.
And Gump is a great movie.
Yeah, it is. And so...
They both had the exact same runtime.
They're both long as hell.
So we couldn't argue that it was the Shawshank was too long. It wasn't. It was just that
there were too many other choices, and other choices that at that time were more highly rated. Probably Tom Hanks was probably way more popular then. He still is popular, but it's probably marketed a lot more.
Not to date this episode in any way, but like Top Gun is out in theaters right now, right? The new Top Gun, the 2022 Top Gun,
so weird.
Which is weird, and yet there's a bunch of people sitting here going, "This is the greatest movie ever made."
I feel like those are just like Top Gun people.
That's my question, and I don't believe them. And what is happening though, and this is maybe what happened, is I don't believe them. I don't believe these people. Anybody who's saying Top Gun is amazing, I feel like they're lying. Or they're
too. I feel like they're just Top Gun people because there are top people that just really love Top Gun.
And yet, like, what if it is really good? And then we're all going to Doctor Strange, and we're all going to Thor: Love and Thunder, and we're all going to Lightyear, and we're all just gonna sit here and go, yeah, it just looked like another Top Gun movie, and everybody's sitting here going, this is the best Top Gun movie. Like, it's better than all the other Top Gun movies. It's emotional, and people care about it. And yet I'm still gonna sit here and go, it looks like a stupid Top Gun movie.
To me, I try not to make judgment calls on movies because I've been proven wrong multiple times. But I'm just gonna grain of salt for everything. So if people are running around talking about Top Gun being amazing, and be like, okay, well, I'll watch it. That's all that means to me. You like it, I'll watch it. That has nothing to do with how good it's going to be. It's just a recommendation.
And I'm going to go to the other movies before it.
I'll watch the Top Gun movie when it's on HBO for free or some shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's when I'll watch it.
I've never seen a single Top Gun movie, so I have no room to talk about it at all, I guess. But If you drag me out to a theater this week and you say you have to watch something in theaters this week, I'm going to pick Lightyear.
I'm going to see Lightyear. I have tickets already.
I heard it was missing something.
Yeah.
I heard it's great. So
We'll see. I was going to see it regardless. People could have walked out the theater saying it was the worst thing they've ever seen in their lives, and I was still going to see it.
that's where I'm at too. I just wasn't going to be there opening week. I'll watch Lightyear. It's just a matter of when. Will it hit Disney Plus and I wait till then? Maybe.
It's going to be a couple months from now.
Yeah. I think it might be sooner than.
They gave me free tickets because my audio description wasn't working when I went to see Strange.
Yeah.
So they gave me free tickets. So I'm just going to use them to go see Lightyear.
That's fair. I would do that same thing. Although I feel like not getting the audio descriptions in Doctor Strange is a disappointment.
I don't want to talk. Yeah, it sucked. It really sucked. I'm still waiting for it to go back on the spring on Disney Plus so I can watch it.
It only got like a couple of days. It's only a couple of days.
So to talk about this movie again,
yes,
were the audio descriptions? Of course, I don't go by those. Were those very helpful, and were they?
Super
helpful. Yes, super helpful. Which is why when Shai said she hadn't watched it until this morning, I mentioned that they were good, and I turned them on, Jeff, because I knew about the little details in this movie that I feel like I probably missed the first time without the audio descriptions.
I always watch. So Dave uses audio description every once in a while. I have to use it.
Yeah,
100%. So because I miss details like that all the time. I miss facial expressions. I miss all kinds of shit. So I use it because the movie's not. I'm not going to have the same experience without it. Period. So, but what I liked about it is they always try to make audio description, not too invasive and not step on the movie's toes and all that. And I feel like they did a really good job with this one. It was like pretty well timed. I feel like overall.
I never felt like the audio needed to cut off anything. And if there was something descriptive that they were ignoring, it wasn't hindering.
Yeah.
Like I definitely could have watched this movie without looking at the screen and you knew what was going on.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
I think showing it, talking, like, especially right when the movie starts and he's sitting in the dark and talking about what he's holding and just like, I was like, yeah, no, I've made the right decision. They figured out a way, and this movie does it better than some, where like I didn't feel invasive or ruined by a narrator coming out. Although I wish that Morgan Freeman did it.
It felt like Morgan had a buddy.
Yeah.
It was like, here's a narrator, and then he's going to tag in this guy. And instead of it feeling completely separate.
Red looks solemnly at the bus. Well, yeah.
It was good. No, it was really good. I liked it a lot. I'm trying to think. Okay. So the part that really switched the movie for me and had me like high alert for the rest of the film was when they shot that kid.
Oh my gosh.
That shit. So when he was like, the warden wants to talk to you, and it was like outside, I was like, oh, he's gonna beat the shit out of him. I didn't think he was gonna kill him. I was not expecting that at all. I was like, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, oh shit.
And I think that was a turning point even in Andy, to where he said, I'm either going to escape, I have to escape, or else I'm going to die here.
Yeah.
Or I'll end up like Brooks, where I can't leave, which I think is what led to him doing other things. The other thing he did, and Andy did this the whole throughout, is just like, and this is why I like this movie and why I care about it a lot, is he cared. He got that library. He was determined. He never gave up.
Yeah.
He was
very determined.
He got put in that box for like 2 months.
That was insane, dude.
2 months, man.
Did you imagine? Everyone's talking about how 2 weeks was a long sentence.
Yeah, and
in solitary.
Oh God, no! And he still came out, and he was like a little bit shook, like clearly, but like he also was competent enough to tell Red what was about to happen, which is basically, I'm going to leave and you're going to know where to go and you're going to find me and it's going to be fine.
Oh, it was so good. But yeah, when they shot that kid, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I thought he was just gonna beat him up.
Can you guys believe the original Pretenses movie was written by Stephen King
Horror.
in 82. Can you believe that this kind of movie was originally written by Stephen King?
Yeah.
Yeah, so watching this a second time, which I don't feel like I remember it being a Stephen King thing the first time, but I'm sure I did because we freaking watched it. And especially because now that I've seen The Shining and I've seen other Stephen King's works, his level of storytelling and the way he tells stories, I feel like this does fit into that genre. It is not straight horror. It is definitely not just a horror. But I
would consider it not even a thriller.
It's not
or
a
anything.
horror at all. It's not even on that wavelength.
But
not even kind of.
But it does leave into this world of like people are bad, and
it's dark. I would say it has dark themes.
And when you think it could get better, it doesn't. It's always going to be worse. Everybody's in a dark place, and they're also going to suffer for it. And I think that is what Stephen King's real thing is this is awful, and you're also going to suffer. Pet Sematary is that way. The Mist is that way. It's not only that the Mist came over and is like making people crazy and sick. It's like, no, like everybody's going to die around you and things are going to be horrible. And also it's going to be okay in the end, except it's not because you have decided to kill everyone. Like I think it does fit into his genre. It's just this like, here's a really shitty dark place. Let's see if I can make it worse.
And then make it better.
Kind of.
Kind of. I feel like when you write as much as Stephen King and have told so many stories, I don't know, last time you were in a bookstore, but he's got his own damn shelf. Like, his own section. Okay? The man has written way too many damn books. And I feel like when you tell that many stories, you may have a wheelhouse, but you got some carts outside of that, and I think you're allowed to, so I feel like this movie has Stephen King seasoning on it, but it's like one of the things slightly outside of the wheelhouse, like, and I like that.
Like, it's Old Bay goldfish, like it's still goldfish, but it's got Old Bay on it.
Yeah. It's just a little different. It's just something different. But I love
the snack things. Final thoughts, Jeff.
Go, Jeff.
So, are we on final thoughts already?
On your final opinions and thoughts.
Just say what you were gonna say.
Yes.
We covered a lot of the notes that I had and that we had.
Yeah.
I will say final thoughts. First off, we touched on the story of it. I will say that the musical score of this movie, I feel like blends in perfectly with the movie. Like when you first get the initial shot of the prison as people are going up to it, and it has that like melody of the bus approaching and everything with like a dark foreboding on it, where it's like it ramps up and it's like, then there's a part where it's like, and like a dark foreboding. I feel like blends in perfectly with this movie.
I
don't know if you guys noticed like the music in the background.
I always notice the music.
Music is a major cue. I don't feel as if, I think the music fits in so well with the movie that it is not intrusive to the point where I didn't really care about it.
The music fit.
Yes.
100% it fit. 100%. I wouldn't say it's a groundbreaking score at all. But it definitely fit and created that ambiance, and obviously just like any score, the movie would be a different movie without it. But I don't think it was groundbreaking. Background for anyone who doesn't know who the hell I am. I don't write movie scores, but I am a musician. I went to school for music, so I have listened to and played a lot of music scores, movie scores. And And this one's okay. Like it's really great for the movie, but if I was just, I wouldn't put it on in my house.
No, I know. I tell you, they made this. I've watched plenty of movie where the musical score is like doesn't fit in with the movie. I feel like they made this to exactly fit in with the movie and nothing else. But I feel like to fit in with the movie, I think it fits in very well with the movie.
I would agree with that.
I think it fits in so well that I didn't even notice it. So it's
a very under the radar score. Like aside from the main theme, it's very much,
it's there.
Hard. It's there. Yeah.
Okay, overall, my final thoughts are, I think I like this movie because my main points are the movie has a great ending, a feel-good movie at the end to where Red and Andy are reunited at the beach. After years of being apart, years and years of being apart, they still manage to find each other at the end. I kind of like, they hug, they're so excited to see each other, kind of like a
bromance.
A bromance, yeah.
Okay, this is a hope that I had while I was watching the movie, and when Red was saying, like, I guess I miss my friend, and like in the narration, and he was just like, I'd like to be able to shake his hand again. And I was like, I swear to God, if he walks up to this man at the end of this movie and shakes his fucking hand, I quit. I was like, if he walks up and shakes his hand, then the patriarchy exists, and I know it exists, and you can't argue with me. I mean, it exists regardless, but it would just have been like solidifying the patriarchy if they just shook fucking hands. I was like, you better hug that man. I was like, I swear to God.
And yeah, exactly. And I'm a sucker for plot twists for me. I'm a sucker for not knowing what's going to happen next. And I feel like the plot twist at the end of this movie is one of the best plot twists in any movie.
It is good that you think he's just making little chess pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did just make chess pieces.
He did. He surely did.
He made his own chess set.
He was also taking rocks out secretly and dumping them in the yard, which is more impressive.
Yeah.
And he hid the rock hammer in a hollowed out Bible.
Yep.
It's how he got the better of everybody to where he was always determined enough to do whatever he put his mind to. He outsmarted everybody. He outsmarted the warden. Everybody got their comeuppance at the end, and there was a huge twist. I think those are my check marks to make a good movie. It's the same way my favorite book of all time. It's the same way for my favorite movie of all time.
Hey, what's your favorite book?
Yeah, Jeff, there's discussions about doing other things.
Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card.
That's on my list. I haven't touched it.
It's the greatest book that's ever been written.
Oh, we'll add it to the list.
Wow, you do that a lot.
No.
Yeah. Shawshank
Redemption. Two things. I'm only so passionate for these two things. And I will say this is my favorite movie of all time, and that book, Ender's Game. If you like this movie, that book is very, very similar.
All right, we know Jeff's opinion.
Yeah.
But Shy.
Yes.
Does this movie belong on this poster?
I would say yes. I think it does. I think it very much does. I like this movie for the hopeful or overarching theme. I like the twist. I like how much we care about everyone and how much we hate the people we're supposed to hate.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And I like the door just opened and it threw me off of my train of thought because I'm a freaking goldfish. Yes.
Hey. We think it belongs here, Jeff. We think this belongs on this poster.
Do you think it belongs?
Yes, it belongs on the poster. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a unanimous yes. I don't think it'll always be that way.
Dave, let me ask you. This is an important question.
Yes.
Second time around, do you think this movie better or worse watching it the second time?
I like it more the second time.
Good.
You think it ages like a fine wine?
Yes. I think knowing what's happening, caring about who I already care about, and I was more emotionally attached to Andy as a character than I was the first time.
Awesome.
And that's, you're gonna hear me say this a lot. If I emotionally am attached to the characters and the story, then I like the movie. If I hate everyone and want everything to burn, I usually dislike the movie.
I will say, no, keep going,
go
sorry.
ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say, it's pretty rare that I loathe, like absolutely despise a movie.
Oh,
Doesn't
just
happen
wait.
very often.
Oh, just wait.
So I'm excited to feel those emotions. Usually I'm like, that was okay, or that was amazing. It's never like, I fucking hate this.
Oh.
Guess we'll see.
Let's wait till next week here.
Yeah.
We think it belongs here on this
I think
poster.
this movie, every time you watch it, it gets better, though.
That's fair. I actually believe you on that. So go watch it again. The Shawshank Redemption, highly regarded from us over here at the Flick Network, where we talk movies. We're online movie friends. Now, here's the kicker, guys. We do have this list. Now we could just shuffle this list and we could just say, yeah, whatever. We'll go in whatever order we want. Or we could go in order of the poster of the 100 bucket list movies. Imagine I'm holding up the poster. Okay. And
Poster.
we could go through that. Now the next movie on our list, for those who have tuned in and hung out with us this whole time, is on the poster. Technically what it says is The Dark Knight. So it means the second movie in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh,
Now,
that's such a weird thing to where they list the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy.
yes.
Because
They
the
just
Dark
list
Knight is the
Star Wars.
Because the Dark Knight, that's the one. I'm sorry, am I wrong? That's the one. Is it not?
I agree with you. At the same time, do we decide right now that we need to watch those 3 movies?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
The Dark Knight is all we need. I'm sorry, I'm biased on this.
I think but we need to set the precedent.
Yeah, this is why this is hard as the second choice.
If the poster just says Star Wars,
Then
do
we
we
have
just
to
watch
watch Star
episode
Wars.
4?
Yeah,
Or do we watch all of Star Wars?
But episode 4 is not just called Star Wars.
It was
It
just
was.
called Star
when
Wars.
it came out, sure.
But it does say the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
So we have to watch the trilogy. It says
Right.
trilogy.
So if it comes to Star Wars, do we just watch Star Wars episode 4, or do we watch
Okay,
all of Star Wars?
So this is
because Star Wars is like 10 movies. So let's just
it is 13
literally-
movies.
whatever. So let's just do let's just do New Hope for Star Wars because it was technically called Star Wars when it launched, right?
Oh, this
And
is going to be
and
hard though.
Do
then.
the Lord of the Rings trilogy because it says the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and we'll just watch the Dark Knight because I don't give a shit about the other 2 movies.
How does it say the trilogy and say it's one movie? That's so weird.
because
because this is a poster made up by a bunch of jerk dudes somewhere.
I
well,
will
listen,
say,
we're watching the trilogy. Sorry.
do you know what they're saying that? I've never watched a trilogy, but they're saying that the Lord of the Rings trilogy, it's not good as one singular movie.
Now, what if the
It's
poster?
a shitty 1 movie, but it's a great 3 movie. Is that what they're saying?
guess.
Okay, so but here's the other question, and this is where I'm gonna
Yeah.
this is where I'm gonna lean. Okay, this is an important debate. The poster also just says Toy Story.
Well, that's Toy Story
So
1.
then we have to watch the first one.
Yeah, but I don't think Toy Story is nearly good without
As
Toy Story 3
Toy Story 2.
or Toy
and
Story
3.
2.
But we
So,
can't just.
like-
No, we can't because then we're going to spend 10 weeks, 15 weeks on Star Wars, and I don't want to do that.
We could watch Batman Begins, then watch the next movie on the poster, and then go back to The Dark Knight, and then watch the next movie after that on the poster, and then go back to Dark Knight Rises.
Wait,
don't
are
think-
all 3 movies on the poster somewhere?
No,
Or-
it just says The
So
Dark
fuck
Knight.
them.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
I'm not
I
watching.
don't want to watch them. I
I'm
only
not
want to
watching
watch the
Batman
Dark Knight.
Beginnings.
All right.
I will say The Dark Knight, out of any movie, an entire trilogy of movies ever made, The Dark Knight you could watch standalone.
I'm glad
It's
you
the-
feel this way because listen, the spoilers, everybody. I don't like The Dark Knight Rises. I think it's trash. I think it's
I don't even remember it.
I do. It's with Bane.
yeah, and he
Oh yeah.
and he
Okay,
lays
I
in a
saw that
hole for an
theaters.
hour and a half of
It's
the
like-
movie.
I saw that in theaters.
I was born into the night. I was molded into it.
And I don't give a shit. That's how I felt. Yeah.
Bruce.
Yep.
It was. I think it was
It
still
was a
good.
fun ride. No, it was a
I
fun
think it
ride
was
at the
good,
theater.
but I will say that Dark Knight was made because of the Joker.
All right, so here's the deal.
Boom.
Next week,
Yeah.
The Dark Knight should be on HBO Max. To be fair, I have not confirmed that, but
I have the trilogy anyway.
I'm almost
That's
guaranteeing.
good for you, Jeff.
Yeah, good for you, Jeff.
No, it's not because I have.
The DVD. It's a DVD. You're gonna have to watch it at 480p widescreen.
No,
Hell
it's a
yeah.
Blu-ray.
Do that shit. Oh, it's a Blu-ray. Oh, we're fancy.
Oh,
But
it's
that means I paid money for 2 shitty movies and a good movie.
Yeah, you did. Yep, you did that.
all right. So next week we'll watch The Dark Knight. Christopher Nolan's
How that was.
The Dark Knight. Here's the fun fact about that movie. I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters.
Me neither.
Oh,
But I had so much fun when I saw it in theaters.
yeah.
I don't think I even saw it in theaters.
I loved it in theaters. I thought
Loved
it was amazing.
Absolutely lived for it.
Now, when I saw Dark Knight Rises, I hated it.
Dave, there is a screw loose in your mind.
So there's gonna be a question here of how I feel about this movie now. But that'll be next. That'll be next week, guys. For all our links,
Wait.
all our thing. Oh, all right. Jeff says, wait.
One last thing.
Okay,
You said this poster ends in 2016.
I think it was made in 2016.
Yes, it was made in 2016. So should we come up with movies from 2017 to 2022
Let's
that we
just finish
feel
the
should we?
list first.
Okay.
I've already put in the notes at the bottom of our movie list. I've started making suggestions. I've added Goodfellas because it's not on this list. I added One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest because it's not on this list. As I go through the streaming services and search for these movies and try to find the movies to watch, and things pop up and I know they're super notable and important movies, I'm adding them to the list in like a suggested section.
Okay.
So we don't have, if we ever get there, if we get through all
If we even get there.
127 movies of the 100 bucket list movies. I've actually worried it says Star Wars and then has some like Roman numerals or something. So we'll find out. Toy Story.
I
Toy
give
Story.
Shawshank Redemption a 10 out of 10.
Are we gonna
10 out of
watch?
10.
Let's watch The Lion King 2.
Stop. Let's do that. I love that movie.
You like The Lion King 2?
I love all. When I tell you Disney owns a piece of my soul, don't even don't even.
Guys, this has been the Flick Network where we discuss movies. For all our links, they're in the description down below. Welcome to this channel. We're going to talk movies and TV here. That's the plan. Every week, we'll do another 100 bucket list movie with me, Dave, Shy, and Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff starts on an yawn and ends on a yawn.
And he ends in a
mean
yawn.
to.
The Flick Network. We watch movies. We talk movies. Your online movie friends. The Flick Network.
The Flick Network podcast is part of the Snack Network, LLC.